When it comes to games, very few are guaranteed smash hits. Changing tastes in what constitutes good game design, rose-tinted nostalgia farming of remasters and remakes, and good old-fashioned tribalism makes it difficult nowadays, short of your every-year football sim and multiplayer shooters, to consider any game a surefire hit. But some games are built different. Some games are so brilliant, become so entrenched in the psyche of their players that they transcend the rest and rise into an echelon where they're immortalised. And right now, that game is the Simpsons Hit Run. Launched back in 2003 as the PS2 reached its apex, developers Radical Entertainment did something truly radical. They took the base game design of the Grand Theft Auto franchise, cartoon character flailing limbs and all, replaced Vice City with Springfield, put the lovable cast of The Simpsons in place of Tommy Vercetti, and let it fly. The result was essentially a racing game, tasking players with pulling off ever more death-defying stunts and races to keep Springfield safe from the threat of black vans, wasp cameras, and the mind-numbing effects of Buzz Cola. With the added bonus that you could punch, kick, and run over any of the Simpsons' myriad of characters along the way. I was 10 when this game came out, and if I need to spell it out to you, obviously it took over my life. I played that game to near death, and know Springfield shortcuts like the back of my hand even today. Exploring a free roam Springfield, discovering secrets in the power plant, getting to visit all the characters and locales that we recognise from the show, that's what made it unique. It didn't matter that it was basically GTA Lite for kids. It didn't matter it had janky mission design, an insanely high difficulty curve, and NPC AI that didn't have a driver's permit. We were in love, and we wanted more. But clearly, someone at Vivendi was wearing a towel when we all said that. So 3 million copies sold later, and a cult following capable of producing a petition that technically required the UK government to respond to it, demanding a remaster or remake. 2 decades down the line, what happened to The Simpsons Hit and Run? Well, this is why we never got The Simpsons Hit and Run 2. It's one of the biggest what-if gaming stories you're likely to hear, and the truth is, it actually sounds like we were achingly close to getting a Hit and Run sequel. If you've been paying attention over the last few years, details of a Hit and Run remaster or a sequel have been doing the rounds for ages, and much of the original dev team from Radical have openly expressed their desire to help expand the Hit and Run legend by working on a follow-up or a remake. So why are we still in the dark? Ultimately, like an ever-growing number of this industry's issues, it comes down to what we're going to delicately term corporate shenanigans. You see, one of the biggest issues around Hit and Run is that no one actually seems to know who owned the rights to it. Yes, it's the other corporate problem the gaming industry just can't quit. Hit and Run is trapped in what The Simpsons producer Matt Selman once called a complicated corporate octopus. Publisher Vivendi Universal Games has since been absorbed into Activision, which has itself just been bought by Microsoft, adding further to the complex cephalopod soup Hit and Run is currently stewing in, and original developer Radical Entertainment, which was also claimed by Activision in that Vivendi buyout, suffered massive job losses after Prototype 2, despite being the best-selling game of the month of its release, was declared a commercial failure by Activision back in 2012, and has produced little of note since. But it was listed among the studios acquired by Microsoft when picking up Activision, so who knows, maybe this soup isn't spoiled just yet. Away from badly laboured cooking analogies then, where does that leave Hit and Run in 2023? Much of the original team that worked on the game has been scattered throughout the industry, and it would take something of a miracle, and no doubt the promise that it would be a smash hit straight out of the door, to convince the corporates who do own it to allow them to bring The Simpsons Hit and Run back to life from here. So basically, what we've learned is that life is one crushing defeat after another until you just wish Flanders was dead. Great. That said, the first game is undoubtedly a cult classic, with a recent fan-made remake finally stitching the levels together into one seamless map. A fan-made remake was even scrubbed from the internet a little while back, again reigniting hopes that something was in the works. Alas, the scorched earth brought nothing. But could there yet be hope? Recently, several of the original team got together for an interview with MinMax, where Hit and Run exec producer John Melchior said that Radical Entertainment was working on a proper Hit and Run sequel all the way back in 2003 and 4. As for what happened to Hit and Run 2, well, it seems like the decision makers at the top dropped potentially one of the biggest and easy to slam dunk bags of their careers. It turns out that after the success of Hit and Run, Vivendi got an offer from The Simpsons to make 5 games. Yeah, that's not a typo, 5. X amount of dollars for essentially the chance at making a Simpsons Hit and Run franchise. But in the end, for reasons beyond any of our understanding, or even the dev team that were working on it, they said no. And what's worse is that the devs actually had some sick ideas for how the next Hit and Run game would play out, bringing in airships and planes and even more outrageous missions. But alas, we, and it seems the devs, were robbed of the chance to see it through. In the end, EA swept in and took the license, giving us 2007's The Simpsons game. Don't remember it? Yeah, us neither. You tried your best and you failed miserably here. The lesson is, never try. And clearly they took that to heart because apart from the odd mobile game, we've had nothing from The Simpsons really since. As Melchior said, it was sad because clearly the dev team had some momentum between the shipping of the game and work starting on the sequel. They'd already started to put it together because they were so sure it was going to get greenlit. A small working demo was running with a blimp flying around, and sure, it wasn't a game by any means, but the work had already begun. It was a no-brainer that it was going to happen. Until it didn't. And maybe, worst of all, is that you can't even accuse The Simpsons of trying to cash in here, of maybe pushing the boat out too far and asking too much for Vivendi to make the games. Because according to the team, the offer of 5 games was for less than what they paid to acquire the rights to Hit and Run in the first place. So why did we never get a Simpsons Hit and Run sequel? These things are always complicated, and it's never truly fair to assign all the blame to one factor entirely, but ultimately, it largely came down to a few people deciding it just wasn't worth the dollar. Thanks for watching. Do you think Simpsons Hit and Run will ever get out of rights hell? And did you spot all the Simpsons lines that are slid into the script? Let us know down in the comments. And while you're here and we've got your attention, you should check out these videos here.